What is going on, guys? Jack here, and welcome to episode 23 of the Charge to the Top, here with Hereford FC, and today I have for you guys a top-of-the-table clash, as we will be taking on Bromley in a game which, if I'm honest, should we win, will all but guarantee us the title here in the Vanarama South. It's been an interesting run of results, of course. Last time out we played Dartford, since then 6 games to blitz through. You can see we got off on not the greatest of starts, a second draw in a row, this time against Havant and Waterlooville. Stephen Payne with the goal, which was great. Unfortunately, however, Havant did equalise fairly soon after. Looking at Stephen Payne here, as you can see, he also twisted his ankle, which has meant that he's been out of the fray in recent games, and a bit of a miss for us, if we're being honest. And, well, despite that, we did actually manage to find some good form as of late. As you can see here, we then took on Hemel Hempstead, a team who have been largely struggling in the league. Stephen Payne grabbing 2, Aramide Ote grabbing the other. Kind of a standard result for us, a good win. We didn't have a whole host of chances, and we did wait until kind of fairly late on, I guess, in the second half, really, to make this game ours. But 3 goals in quick succession saw us get 3 more points. Following on from this, 2-2-1 wins, the first of which came against Eastbourne, a team who have been struggling a lot this season. And, well, unfortunately for us, as you can see in this game, Payne obviously picked up his injury, which I've already talked about, but the big injury was Keenan Bennett, of course, the right midfielder, out. And as you can see here, he actually had a damaged spine. The injury itself, I paid £500 for a specialist to treat him for 2 to 3 months. The other option I had was to leave my physio to deal with it for 11 to 13 months. So I feel like the £500... probably worth it to try and get this guy back to full fitness. He's been superb for us. 30 games, 10 goals, 20 assists in the league. Really instrumental. And it was really pleasing, I guess, that we've continued on in the good form we have, despite those injuries to Payne and Bennett. Anyway, the next game against St Albans, a team who are going very strong in this kind of league early on. They kind of since then have fallen off the pace quite a lot. As you can see, a flurry of goals either side of half-time ended the game 2-1. 3 goals in total. You can see here, looking at it, we dominated possession with 65%. We were in large kind of control for most of the game, unfortunately. We did squander a fair few opportunities, not ideal, but at the same time, Willock played well, and, well, that was the difference. Joe Willock, of course, coming into the side, he has kind of been our replacement for Keenan Bennett, and I do like this guy as a winger, but at the same time, I do feel like, despite being an incredible winger, he's a little bit one-dimensional in his play. But regardless, 2 goals from there, really can't complain, and a good performance all in all. Anyway, 2 more games, the first of which was a 2-0 win against Maidstone, a team who actually in recent weeks have made a little bit of a resurgence up the league. They were tipped to win the league, of course we were tipped to kind of come second place to them, and a good win here with Ote grabbing both goals was the difference maker. Sean Hanbury getting an assist, which is always good to see. Joe Willock off the back of his 2-goal performance previously getting a crucial assist as well, and yeah, a vital win against the team right at the top of the table. Anyway, the next game was against Gosport, a team who I believe are in 20th in the league. We won 4-0, as you can see. Ote, Hanbury and Piggott with the goals. Jordan Piggott, really been I don't want to say a surprise package this year, but he's a very one-dimensional defender in a lot of ways, but he has been very, very good for us defensively, and he has actually developed as a player as well, which has been nice. A 7.4 average rating in the league for him. Definitely something worth shouting about. That is a pretty mighty fine contribution to the team, and it was a good contribution by him with the goal in this game. So anyway, those are the results that we've played since the last episode. As you can see, 35 games now played in the season, of course, only 42 to be played. We're in a great kind of situation right now. We're on the cusp of guaranteeing ourselves a playoff spot, and if we were to beat Bromley here today, it would see us pull quite far clear ahead of them. We're already 12 points ahead, which is, you know, a decent margin really, with only, 7 games left of the season, but a win here could move us pretty much all but to kind of the top of the table, and I don't feel like at that point many teams would be able to catch up with us. Of course, our goal scoring prowess really has been the difference this year. We've scored 92 goals so far this season. The next highest goal scorers, Billericay in third, have scored 60, to kind of put into perspective just how many we've been scoring. Defensively as well, we've not got the greatest defence in the league, but it's actually been one of the best defences of a team up in the kind of playoffs and kind of promotion spots, which is kind of saying a lot, really. It's been an interesting league in terms of the fact that a lot of teams have defended well but then struggled to find goals. We've not defended outstandingly, but our kind of general attitude and the attitude that I kind of just had with Football Manager of let's outscore the opposition has really prevailed so far this year, and especially in recent form. we're playing very, very well. We've not lost a game since the end of January, which now at the end of March, that 2-month spell of kind of unbeatenness is a very good situation to be in. And, well, if we can beat Bromley today, as I already said, we should be home and dry. Since the last episode, I have made a few signings. I talked about the fact that at the end of last episode, I needed to sort out some contracts. We had players whose contracts are expiring, players who don't want to renew their contracts or do for absurd prices. I needed to start planning, a few players who could come in who are going to be good for us next year. And I think I found 2 players. The first of which is Daniel Carr here. He is a player who, as you can see here, was at Newport County in League 2 prior to their relegation last season. He actually was released by them. And, this guy, he's a fantastic striker and I think he'll be a very good option for us. But I actually quite like the prospect of playing him as a right winger. As good as Keenan Bennett has been this year, I feel like he has a few holes in his game, and that Keenan Bennett's, going up another division, it's going to be a big step up again next year in the Vanarama National League, and I feel like Daniel Carr out wide could be a very, very good player for us. To put into perspective, I guess the difference here, these are the 2 players compared side by side. The difference that Daniel Carr offers is big. Obviously, other than the speed difference between the players, he's just a far better player in so many different departments, and it's kind of the level of improvement that I'm looking to make this year. So a good addition, Daniel Carr. He joins us on what is a kind of interesting contract. He gets paid £250 a week and £100 per appearance, which is actually quite a modest fee relative to what a lot of our players who are seeking renewals are looking for, which we'll look at in just a second. Anyway, the other player we brought in, this guy, Oscar Goburn, a really interesting player with a quite interesting career. Obviously, he's now joined us in the Vanarama South, this following a spell at League 1 club Wickham, where he failed to really make an impact. But the 28-year-old, not a young player, started his career playing for Southampton in the Championship, made a few appearances at a very young age, had a few moves, ended up at Huddersfield, where he consistently played in the Championship for them, for a fairly decent amount of games season on season. From there, he's kind of fallen out of favour. He went to Mansfield in League 2, performed okay there, perhaps a little bit out of his league in the 2016-17 season. He then went to Wickham, and he now joins us after a little while without a club. This guy, though, my scout and the coaches think he's a good player for the Vanarama South. I guess that's actually one with terrible judging. Basically, he's a good player for the national leagues, in my opinion. Obviously, coach reports, the discrepancy must be kind of, I guess, reminded about the fact that obviously at this level, judging ability, judging potential isn't that great. You kind of have to use your own eyes. But if we just compare Goburn here to Duffer, or Duffman, of course the player who is fairly similar in a lot of ways, you can kind of see the difference between these 2 players. Goburn, he's not quite as fast, but in every other department he is significantly better. Better going forward, better vision, better in the air, better technically, good defensively too, and I think he's going to be a very good centre mid on defend for us next season, as well as for the closing stages of this season. At 28 years old as well, has a little bit of experience, which is definitely going to be vital for us, and he's kind of the kind of player I'm looking for. You can see £250 a week we're paying him and £100 per appearance. Again, it's a fairly nice fee. So as you look across our starting 11 now, you'll notice that the majority of the players have actually now signed contracts for next season, or at least the ones who are certainly key. A few exceptions like Kane Smith are just annoying situations which I'm perhaps going to have to deal with. You can see with Kane Smith here, 23 years old, obviously a very good right back. If I go to renew his contract, he's currently on £500 a week, just flat fee. He's looking for an appearance fee of £2,000 a week. I can't pay that. I can't justify paying that for a player like Kane Smith. As much as he's the captain of the team, and he's been a very good player for us for the last 2 seasons, really, I'm not paying £2,000 per appearance that he makes. That's a ludicrous sum of money. It's just not feasible to offer him. Another player in a similar situation is Anthony Wright, who, again, a player I'm probably going to be looking to replace this year. He is seeking £750 per game. He's currently getting paid £150 a week. That kind of wage jump is something I really can't tolerate, and if these players don't decide to lower their demands going into next season, the chances are they're not going to be appearing for Hereford next year, which is a sad reality. But I feel like, as we've shown with the likes of Daniel Carr and Oscar Goburn, there are players out there who are willing to come to us of significant quality for only, £300 to £400 a week, and I don't need to worry necessarily about breaking the bank to hold on to some of our players. So anyway, let's get into today's game. It's against Bromley. It's actually going to be Goburn's debut this game. He has not got much match fitness, but we're going to give him a whirl in that centre mid defend role, which is where he's going to play for us. You can see very well suited to that. A very well-rounded centre mid in truth with some good physicals And yeah, let's see how the former Huddersfield and Southampton man does for us here. A big game, just to put it into perspective. Bromley, as I already mentioned, they're trailing us in the league in second. Their goal difference significantly worse than us, but they are only 12 points off the pace. A win here would see them move within 9 points of us and goal difference, which at this point in the season I guess can be counted almost as an extra point, because it seems unlikely their goal difference is going to surpass ours. And that would be, within 10 points of us with, 6 games remaining. That would still be a pretty tall order. If we can get a win here and hope Billericay screw up, we're really going to be in such a good position just to kind of coast away to the end of the season. And of course, that's very pleasing to be able to say, because towards the end of last season, the start of this season, I was worried. We hadn't added enough quality. But I feel like players like Isaac Christie-Davis playing well, players like, obviously, Ote continuing to perform well in this league. Keenan Bennett's another example of a player who really stepped up in a way that I didn't expect him to this year. Those kind of performances have really kind of made this season happen. Anyway, looking at our team, we go with Lumley, who of course is on loan from QPR in goal. Across the back, we go with, of course, Chris Owens, fantastic left back in truth. At left back, Pigott and Rafael Branco. At centre back, Branco still settling in, still playing well though, the centre back. We then have Smith, who, as I mentioned, not looking to renew his contract at the moment, which is a bit of a shame. Same with Anthony Wright out on the left hand side. In the centre mid positions, we of course go with Goburn, who's going to be making his debut, and alongside him, Isaac Christie-Davis. Really like the look of Christie-Davis here, a player who has improved a lot, played 29 games for us, he's benefited from those matches, he's continuing to improve as a player. If we look at his report here, you can kind of see he's well suited to Vanarama national future. He could be a very good player in the league we're going up to next year. Yeah, excited by him, perhaps on a little bit more money than I'd like, in truth, with his wages. But at the same time, he's been good for us this year, and hopefully he can kind of continue that level of performance. Joe Willock comes into the side at right back with Bennett's injury. He's performed well, as I've kind of already alluded to. He's been getting some goals, getting some assists. Up top for today's game, we go with Sean Hambury, who of course was a great player for us last year, fell out of favour this year. He's done okay this season in the various games he's played in, but in truth, he's never really been given an extended run in the first team. And well, alongside him, we go with Aramide Ote, of course. The reason Hambury is in the side is due to the injury that we currently have to Stephen Payne, our other striking option. We have got Daniel Carr on the bench, who of course is the new man on the block, the man who I think is going to slot in at right mid for us going into next season. But who knows, maybe he will get a whirl up top in this game. We've also got Darren Stevenson, Malik Hamilton, Duffman and George Johnson on the bench as our options. So anyway, let's see how we get on. I'm going to encourage the players to play exactly how we have done already. I feel like after the last few performances, we're expected to win this one fairly handsomely. It's going to be tricky. Bromley, they've been a bit of an unusual team because they've been in the playoffs for an extended period of time, but I don't really remember them being in second place in the league until recently. And, well, they're going to be kind of trying to hunt us down. They're going to be knowing that it's very crucial for them that they win this game to really close the gap on us. Of course, this is a massive kind of 6-pointer in a lot of ways. If we can win this, I don't want to say it prematurely, but I think we will have won the league. And barring kind of a miracle and us completely fluffing our lines, we should be home and dry, I think, kind of cross fingers, touch wood. In terms of what I'll do for the end of season review, I will probably just do a review if we win this game, unless something drastic happens, in which case we'll come back sooner next episode. But for now, let's focus on what's going on here. Bromley, they've had the fair share of this first half. At home, you'd expect us to be going ham, and well, we've not really done that as of yet, although we might have a chance here. Ote, can he use his pace to beat his man? He takes it round one, crowded out, goes for an ambitious effort, it flies over the crossbar. Not a bad run by that man though, that was a decent little bit of build-up play. The finish perhaps just lacking a tiny bit, but at the same time, it's a good sign of intent, and we're going to be looking for some more of that late on here in the first half, as we are coming forward with the ball. We've edged possession, but in truth, there's not been a lot of chances either way. And, well, here, Bromley deal with the ball quite nicely. Jeffrey now bringing it forward for them. One option ahead of him in number 9. Lays it inside to Benson. Goburn, don't get sent off on your debut. He's already on a booking. He's getting stuck into the tackles there. I'm really worried that he's about to get sent off. Saw it coming, didn't I? He wanted to make an impact on his debut. I mean, he's made an impact. It's not exactly the impact I was looking for. Well, Duffman, you're going to come back into the side. Ote, you are going to move to centre forward on your own. In terms of how we approach this now, I feel like we do have to be a little bit more defensive. We're going to look to hit teams on the counter. We're going to have Willock and Wright, I think, in the final third. Kind of on centre, kind of more attacking mid-rolls. And I think the plan here is going to be to try and hit them on the counter. A draw at this point is perhaps what we've got to strive towards. We're going to go more direct passing. We can close down sometimes, I guess, but really we're looking to hit teams on the break where we can. And yeah, we'll see what we can do kind of counter-attacking away, I think. I feel like Ote is going to be a big player for us now to turn up big. I feel like we should probably have our fullbacks on support, and it might be worth putting our wide men... I was going to say to sit narrower, but I'm going to put them on roam from position. Obviously, with the way that we're playing, we're trying to hit teams on the break. It's annoying that you can't put wingers to sit narrower. I guess I could change them to inside forwards. But by having them roam from position, it should mean that they're going to have a little bit more creative freedom in the final third, which is going to be needed because they're both going to have to get up the pitch and try and back up Ote as best as possible when they can. They are going to be on the support duty. It's going to be Ote on his top on his own. And, well, half-time, it's 0-0. I'm going to tell the players I'm not happy. It's a good performance. I'm very, very annoyed at the fact that Goburn on his debut has been sent off. Hopefully, he can put that behind him, obviously, going forward. But, yeah, puts us in a little bit of a tricky situation. He's a good player. I'm sure this is just a blip, and I'm hoping it's just a blip, kind of hit this red card here. He's not really got a reputation for them. But, well, an hour left of this game. We've used one sub, obviously, with Duffman coming on. Ote has really struggled up top on his own. I'm going to make what might seem like a little bit of an odd change, I think. And the change I'm going to make is I'm going to bring in Daniel Carr and Darren Stevenson, and we're actually going to play them as inside forwards. Now, the reason we're going to do this is because they're both strikers who can also play out wide on either kind of side. You'll notice that Stevenson is going to be cutting in on his right-hand side, whereas Carr is right-footed, so, you know, won't be cutting in on a stronger foot. But we need to try and hit them on the break. And I feel like this trio of attackers can maybe make something happen for us. Regardless, it's going to be tricky. We're down a man. It's a little bit of a roll of the dice, I guess you could say here. We're throwing a few more men into attacking duties. We've used all our subs. Chris Owens picked up a knock. It's a gashed head. He can play through that. Should be okay. But let's see what we can do here. They're on the attack here, Bromley. This has not been a game full of chances. And while Bromley are going to be looking to make the most of the fact they do have this man advantage now. It's now with Diamond in the middle. Owens, nice kind of tackle by him considering he's carrying an injury and a booking. Clears it away again. Can Ote now counter? We are just hoofballing it to him. Can he beat his man? Cut inside. It's an ambitious effort. It would have been one hell of a goal by Aramide Ote if he'd managed to finish it. Unfortunately, the ambitious effort at the end of it goes missing. Looking at the stats, Bromley, they've had their fair share of possession, but they've not had any clear-cut chances or half chances. We've had a few of our own. We're looking to hit them on the counter here. Carr, the new man. Another player making his debut. Perhaps he can have a little bit more of a more meaningful impact for us. Although, well, we're going to be looking to defend here. Jeffrey, Owens dives in. We're going to have another man sent off. Down to 10 men. I think it's fair to say at this point, we have a discipline problem, which has emerged just in this game. Owens, he's had a gash head. He's got a second yellow. 10 minutes left of this game. Perhaps now is the time to kind of look to park the bus. And we'll just try and see this game out as best we can. We're going to, I think, play with 3 centre-backs and then play with Duffman and Christy Davis even more defensive. We don't have many men left on the pitch at this point, which is a little bit problematic if I'm honest. But yeah, we're going to go with something like this. It's not ideal, players playing out of position, but we don't have any more subs. We're looking to still try and hit them on the counter, maybe. At the same time, Stevenson and Carr, they're going to have a job to do defensively in this game. So, that's the system we're going to go with. I feel like we should probably play a little bit wider, just so our wider fullbacks perhaps are more liable to go and close down wingers. But they've got a set piece here that we need to deal with. Down to 9 men, it's not good, but the header at least mercifully goes over. We have 10 minutes to hold on here. It's not going to be easy against Bromley, but we're doing a very good job in truth. Great defensive work by the team. There's a minute left in this game. There might be a late chance. The ball forward to Ote. It's ambitious. Now we need to look good defensively. Piggott deals with it initially, but there might be an attack on here. Jeffrey bombing it forward. Options in the middle. Whips in. Holmes is there. Knocks down to Walker. Lumley. What a save by the goalkeeper. It's blocked away. This is heroic defending. Smith gets it clear. And, well, with 40 seconds left of this game, that save by Lumley may well rescue us a point. Can we hit them on the counter? Maybe. It seems unlikely. Down to 9 men. Now Holmes with the ball out wide. Ref, can you just blow the whistle, please? 20 seconds left. Jeffrey, bring the ball forward. It's blocked out for a corner. We are going to be short of men in the area to deal with this. They actually have well, a significant man advantage here for us to deal with. The ball is headed clear. Ref, blow the whistle, please. 0-0 would be a fantastic result given the circumstances, and we are going to get it. It's called a ball draw by the commentator, but it could prove to be a very, very vital performance in terms of kind of our season as a whole. Looking at it here, Billericay did win 3-0 against Bath. That does mean with 6 games left of the season, and obviously a possible 18 points, they are within 11 points of us. But also worth noting that they obviously have worse goal difference. It's almost the equivalent of 12 points. So I feel like we're probably, and hopefully, fingers crossed, touch wood, home and dry. We hold on to our unbeaten record. A massive performance by the players who didn't lose their discipline, who didn't lose their temper and get sent off. A massive kind of credit goes to the team for rallying despite being 2 men down. You can see it, Chris Owens is going to be out. We might as well send him to the physio because he's going to be suspended anyway. Carr made an interesting debut. Goburn, not the debut to remember really for him. A player who, let's hope that that's just kind of a flash in the pan and that's not going to be something that we regularly see from him. You can see kind of previously, he's not been that bad with his discipline. He had 1 yellow card in 22 games at Mansfield in League 2. So I think it's just a freak incident, and I'm hoping that that's not going to be something we see too much more of. Anyway, in terms of our games to end the season, we've got Wealdstone, then we've got Salisbury. We then do have Weston-super-Mare in 6th, followed by Bath in 7th, and then we finish up with Welling and Chelmsford. I feel like we should have the league wrapped up now. I feel fairly confident in that. I may come back for the Weston-super-Mare if stuff relies on it. If not, we'll do an end of season review. I feel like this is going to be a bit of an anticlimactic end of the season in terms of there's not going to be loads of late drama. But 11 points clear with 6 games remaining. We're in such a good spot now that we are really going to have to bottle it to even have a chance of screwing this up somehow. And I feel pretty confident in the boys that we can now see out the position we're in. We're in such a great spot. We've had a great season. And hopefully now we just keep playing the way we have been and can just see out this year. But anyway, that's going to wrap up this episode from me, guys. Hopefully you did enjoy. A bit of an interesting game. Not exactly I don't want to say it wasn't entertaining, because of course there was the 2 sendings off, but everyone loves goals and there weren't any today in that 0-0. But I don't know. I feel like that's one of the first games this year where we've not actually scored. They don't happen very often. But there you go. 0-0 against Bromley. Could have been worse. Anyway, I've already said this is wrapped up from me. I'm rambling on. If you've enjoyed, leave a like. If you've got any comments, leave them down below. And other than that, thank you so much for watching. I will see you guys next time for episode 24. And other than that, it is me, Jack, and I will talk to you guys in a bit. I'm out.